Nettie, and I create content that I believe will be beneficial for you. So come, learn, and grow with me. Say me. Say me.
Me with the oh my goodness.
Okay, we're not taking that out.
Hey, now I can see that I'm beautiful. Hey,
So today I have a guest with me on my channel. On this channel, it's our channel, guys. Forget that. Forget I said that it's my channel. It's ours. You and I. You, the watcher.
You are the ones who make the channel.
Yes. So today I have with me my best friend. She'll introduce herself. Who she is.
My name is Chaka and I am the best friend. And yeah, I'm here to talk, have a conversation with my best friend.
So today we're just basically going to have a conversation, really. There'll be like a line of thoughts that I had, and I'll just dive into whatever it is. So it's going to be a good conversation. So stick around. On something that I was thinking about a few days ago. So I was watching a YouTube video. I follow this channel. It's a podcast channel. Yeah, they do. It's like a video podcast. And this lady with her husband was talking about how, like, they felt like therapy is one of the things that was really beneficial for their marriage. And at first, she was going to individual therapy and everything, and she just said certain things that like I could really relate to, like as a person who is not married either way. And it was just like she's so right, because some of the things that she said, like her and her husband, like the things that they go through, they've been arguing about, and like their challenges, most of them have been because of like her upbringing and part of the things she struggled with as a child as she was growing up. So some of the things she was saying were like how she thought she's a people pleaser, like she's always trying to like impress people and make sure like the relationships around her, like she shows up doing the most, like her energy is on I have to do the most for me to keep these relationships. And that was like, I feel like she's me. I feel like she's me because I feel like I have this like unhealthy need to keep friendships and relationships, and like when I lose a friend, like, or when a friend goes distant, like I'm always checking myself, like what did I do wrong? What did I not do right? Like did I show up enough for them and stuff? So yeah, I was like, we need therapy, like each and every one of us needs therapy. That's because the way we are, like as individuals, that's how we show up as we are in whatever place that we are in, work, relationships, friendships, everything. So yeah, I was like, I think I need therapy. Yeah. So what are you thinking right now, hearing that?
You do need therapy. But I do agree it's important that we do take time to maybe see a therapist or even somebody that you just know could be a good listening ear to you.
Yeah.
Because certain times we like to tackle things on our own that we should be dealing with the help of other people. And that's something that's very vital, and I guess for me that's why I value mentorship so much.
Yeah.
Because it helps me to do life with somebody.
Yeah.
And also that's why it's important that you have the right friends around you. That's something that we take for granted.
Yeah, we really
like your circle of friends, the people that you're accountable to, people that are accountable to you really does matter, because they could function as your therapists that are not licensed, but it's still important for you to see a licensed therapist. I haven't been to one yet, but but I do plan on seeing one, because I've seen the value of it just in interacting with my friends.
Yeah.
Like imagine the wealth of wisdom that I get out of my friends who do not have like licensed experience. But what more would I get from a person that actually knows what they're doing? Like they've studied this. So I believe it's very important to see a therapist and get help professionally, or just talk to somebody, get counseled about what issues you have.
But don't you think, okay, especially for us who are like who've grown up firstly in African homes, like some of the things that we've heard growing up is like, especially from adults, like it's not something that we've seen like adults having conversations about what they're going through. Mostly it's been like when there's a meeting, there's already a decision and everybody has to follow through. Like when you want to disagree, you can't just disagree. Like it's like life is decided for you in advance. And sometimes, like even if you're struggling, right, it's hard to say that you're struggling, because it's like they laid out a plan for you, and especially if you go against like the norms of what we are usually told, like you grow up, you do this and do this and do that, and then you do something different. It's like you already have like an I told you so. And honestly, therapy is just so
it's not part of our culture.
Yeah, it's not like how then did you get to a point where you're like, yeah, I need to see a therapist and I'm ready to see a therapist. Like for me, it's one thing to say I feel like I need therapy, but then also bringing myself to actually say, okay, let me go and see a therapist. I feel like that's a different ball game altogether. So like, how did you get to that place?
I would say it has to do with honesty, being honest with yourself and what you know.
I don't want to be honest.
But you gotta do it.
Mandy, I'm joking.
We have to get to a point where we're honest with ourselves. That's something that's very, very important.
Yeah.
Because somebody can help you with something that you are unsure of.
Yeah.
Like, how could I say this? Let's say I have a problem. It could be an addiction that I need help with. But then I just go up to this person like, yo, I need help. I have an addiction. But then they're like, okay, so what kind of addiction is it? Is it alcohol? Is it sexual? Like, they would be in a better position to know, if you're honest with yourself, first of all, to say, this is the problem I have. This is the kind of help I need.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we were learning yesterday, we had a class, and we were talking about how opportunities, we usually say, oh no, I never get opportunities to do stuff, but you cannot wait for an opportunity that you're not looking out for. An opportunity can pass you by if you're not looking out for it. So I believe it's also the same when it comes to getting help that you believe you need. You have to be able to identify that, okay, I need help.
Yeah.
And also when you talked about the narrative of how in the African community or in the African home, it's almost like you're not really as vulnerable with your family or people in your family. I think it's up to you to take that step.
Yeah.
When it comes to my family, we're not really like people who express like, hugs and whatnot. But it's just recently that we even like started saying I love you over calls and over text.
Yeah.
It took an intentional step. I don't know who started it, but all of a sudden everybody was saying I love you back to calls, like at the end of a call. Even my brother guys, which you just know
we
brothers. Like, it's so hard for guys to say I love you back, like even to their friends. But it just took an intentional step to say, okay, people need to know that I love them.
Yeah, that's true.
If I can show it maybe with gifts, I could show it with my words and match it up with my actions. So when it comes to feeling like because of how you've grown up, you're not allowed to express yourself, you now have to begin to change the narrative for the generations that are coming after you. If people are not asking you questions that are leading you to open up, be the one that asks those questions. Because certain times people are just waiting for somebody to take the step. You could be the one that leads your family into being a family that's more receptive to people opening up about their emotions and other stuff.
And I think the more you ask questions, like people are willing to talk about things. Like I think with my parents, like aside from the aspect of honoring them, like I had to learn that aspect. But then I think also just learning to go to them and ask questions. Like I found that there's also like there's also a wealth of knowledge that they have to give me to use, and also things that I could avoid. Yeah, but I feel it really takes time. Takes time and intentionality to just get to a place where you can actually speak to your parents. I always had this perception of my mom and my dad until I actually started having conversations with him. I think, like you said, it's our responsibility to like do whatever we can to have these conversations. And the narrative is like African parents don't want to have these conversations. They do. It's just that they are not as exposed to what we know now, as we are. So I think it's up to us to bridge the gap. Like, you want to have a good relationship with your parents. Of course, it's not going to be like these, like the what we see on TV. I think that's where the problem is. Like, we have unrealistic expectations of our African parents, because what they know and what we know is different. They've grown up in a different generation. Their generation had wars and independence and all these crazy things, and we have online resources and whatever, and we're able to see people display their parents, their families in a way that looks cute and everything. But I don't think any real relationship is really like rosy all the time. Like, we can't expect our African parents to have like the perfect answer, to be buddies with us. Like, I love you. Like, my parents, it's still a struggle. Like, sometimes I tell them I love you, and their response is thank you, or like, oh, cool, no problem. Like, it's still weird, but you still do it because you're doing it for you as a person, right? And not necessarily for them, like, oh, because I want this kind of response back. It's kind of unrealistic, honestly. And I think the whole aspect of comparing our parents to what we see on TV, those things are scripted. Like, those people are given lines, literally how to live, how to speak to each other and whatever. I'm not saying that no families who have great relationships, even if they're African, but then I think you would agree with me that majority of them are where we're at, right? So I think it takes a lot of intentionality on our part as children, right? And just knowing at the back of our minds, like, hey, these people didn't grow up the way we've grown up. They were not exposed to what we've been exposed to. Their parents were exposed to different things, and it's just like we should learn to give them grace. Like, giving our parents grace, it allows us to see them better, like, I feel like a lot of things that I used to hold, like growing up, like hold in my heart, like I've found some sort of release now that I can actually speak to my parents about certain things. And trust me, these people are wise. Like, they're so wise. They may not say it exactly how the 21st century people are saying it, but if you look at the heart behind it, like, they really say things that will help you, and they always mean well. Because if they didn't, we would be dead already by now. Like, it just takes one poisoning or one. We've been eating their food for as long as we can remember. Yeah. So.
And just to build up on what you've said, there's something that I recently learned earlier this year. Like, somebody had asked a certain woman who was a psychologist, saying, how do I, just like the very thing you talked about, like getting to a point where you're able to talk to your parents openly, almost like just be vulnerable with them as you would be with a therapist, maybe. And what this person said is, most of the times we like to place a demand on our parents, to place a demand or to get out what we haven't tried to build. What they were implying is, let's say it's almost like you want to get the benefits of a relationship that you haven't tried to build. You're out there saying, oh no, my parents don't hear me out. But when your mom comes in, you leave the room. When your dad comes in the house, you leave the room, and then when the time comes for you to actually seek counsel from them, you haven't built a relationship that allows you to have access to that. So the illustration that she gave was how in other countries like America would say they have tornadoes, and they usually have the basement that has been reinforced for a time when tornadoes do come in, hurricanes. So it's because they've gone ahead to set up a basement that they, when the time comes for them to go, you know, they already have a place where they're going to be safe. You won't find somebody building the basement in a hurricane. They do that before time. And it's the same with life, you know. We'll experience different things. And I remember this was during a talk that was being hosted by Dario Chongolo when he was launching his book, The Perfect Storm. Please do purchase it if you haven't, or if you haven't read it. We're not promoting it, but I'm just saying it's an amazing book. And they were talking about how life has different storms, and you have to have a basement ready for when life storms come, because one way or the other you're going to grow up to your parents' age, and that is when you begin to understand them more and need them more. But if you haven't built a basement, a safe space when life storms come at you, you're going to be out there posting on social media, my parents are this, my parents are that. It's because you're trying to get the benefits of a relationship that you never tried to reap, to sow into. You know, you never tried to water that relationship, and yet you want to enjoy the fruits of it. You have to work for the relationship. You have to build communication with your parents to get the wisdom that they have. They won't just like write you letters or write like the way we have the Bible, you know, wisdom in there. Your parents are not going to write you a manual on how to do life. You have to get it out of them while they're still alive. You know, so you can't be out here saying, oh no, my parents this, my parents that, but have you actually tried to build a relationship and actually understand who they are? Because like Laoneti was saying, we try certain times to compare our parents to another person's parents. Like, oh, why is my mom not like that person? Why is my mom not like this person's mom?
We don't know the work they put in.
Yeah, but we have to understand that your mom and your friend's mom are two different people. They're two different people, two different personalities, two different characters. So you can't compare like, okay, my mom is not like this, so I won't talk to her. You have to still be intentional about building the relationship if you're going to get the benefits of that relationship. You can't expect to enjoy the sweet without the sweat.
That's so true. Like this is what I was saying, like there's so much unrealistic expectations on, and not just on our parents, like on our friendships, our siblings, you know, like, hey, see what other brothers are doing. Like, but other brothers are not our brothers, and other sisters are not our sisters, you get what I mean? Like, each of us has a different person. One thing that has allowed me to see my family differently is just the understanding that each person is their own person. Like, this person is a different individual. The way I relate with one sibling is different from how I would relate with another sibling. It's about getting to know them at a different place. And honestly, I think the thing that makes it hard for us to do is the fact that it's hard work. Like, we want the microwave things, you know, they can quick results, even in relationships. Like, I don't know if it's because we're in a fast generation, like things are done quickly. We expect that for relationships as well, like with people, family, whatever. Like, relationships don't work like that. And I think that's something that I constantly have to remind myself, like, it takes work. It takes work for friendship, it takes work for relationship, it takes a lot of work for family. So I know that you know, like, it's just I feel like the reason why there's so many negative memes about families and whatever, it's because we really crave for such relationships. Like, we really want them. Let let's just admit
we like to
want-
downplay stuff that we're trying to convince ourselves that it's not that
It's not
important,
a
so we'd
big
rather
deal.
downplay it so
Mm.
that it doesn't feel as necessary as
Yeah.
it actually is, which is a very bad thing because
Yeah.
again, like I said, you have to be honest with yourself.
Mm.
So it's like you're lying to yourself to cope with the lack that you have
Mm.
rather than deal with what's actually happening.
Actually what's happening, yeah. But I don't know, I feel like if you are the kind of person who feels like your family is just something else, there's no relationship whatsoever, I think most of us are willing to, like, we're willing to have the relationship, but we're not willing to put in the work. And there's no like there's no harm in calling your sibling often. Like, it's like, let go of these stereotypical things, you know, like, no, brothers are supposed to tell sisters they're ugly, brothers are supposed to do this, but like it really does, it's so unnecessary. Like, it's just somebody else is telling you what to do with your family, but they don't know how you relate, they don't know your relationships, you know, with your families. And there's this whole thing, for me it really bothers me, like African parents are so, like, they're so demonized. Like, it's like they're these horrible people, you guys, like, that's all they know, that's all they know, like, all they know is all they can give. And whether we like it or not, like, if we're just going to pretend like it's them and them, but like, that's all we're also seeing, right? Like, unless we get a place where we understand them, we honor them, we love them still, we pick out the value of who they are, it's easier for us to heal from the possibly like the traumatic experiences that we've experienced as we are growing up, and that will help us even do better as, you know, parents in the future, and even as family members, nieces, uncles, whatever. Like, we don't, it's not necessary, like, you guys, like don't go with the trends. Like, let's not go with the trends, let's just choose to be let's choose to be who we really are. Like, there's so much of these facades in the world, like, there's need for us to just keep real, you know. If our parents really hated us, would we be here, guys? Some of us would have been killed, you know, just there when you're a baby. We've heard of babies who are thrown away in pits and whatever. If our parents really hated us, they would have thrown us away. But they kept us because they gave us whatever it is they knew how. You know, if the only thing they know is feeding, they don't know how to talk to you as a child. That's what they have, you know. It's not every parent who's been exposed to, like, no, talk to the child like this, like, talk to a child like that. Some of them, if you sit down with them and ask them what is therapy, they'll just like, see, what is that? You know what I mean? So let's just give grace to parents, let's give grace to siblings. And if we're going to be against African parents, like, hello, we are African and we will be parents, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's all.
And I just believe it's important that you address the issues that you're seeing. I know certain times it can be hard to do that, but certain times I feel like we like to say, oh, I'm going to be a better parent than my parents are. It's a noble thing if you've noticed like there's something wrong, but you have to get to the root cause of that. Like, the bad qualities that you've seen in your parents, maybe in their parenting style, how did they actually get to that place?
Yeah.
Because if you just say, oh, I'm going to be a better parent, what if they also said that about parenting? You know, but if they never actually go to the root of what their parents did to them that made them act in a certain way, it's going to be the same for you as well. So you have to deal with your issues now before you can take on a different narrative. So you have to definitely be honest, deal with what you currently have going on now, build a relationship with your parents, get to know them better. Okay, why do you think your parents were a bit more strict with you, trying to keep you home? You know, rather than just saying, me when I grow up, I'm not going to be like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give my kids freedom.
You have to be able to understand the hearts that your parents have for you, when you decide to change it, you won't be changing it just from a point of rebellion, but from a point of actually understanding.
Yeah, that's so true because like I feel we tend to also forget like to celebrate the good qualities in our parents, right? Like some of us, like our parents, maybe they may not be the best communicators, but they are good demonstrators.
Yes.
Like it's this thing that people say, no, African parents don't apologize. Like maybe they never saw apologies being done, but they definitely know how to cook you a meal, to make you feel better. That's an apology for them. But like if you look at the heart behind it, that's truly them being saying I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry. It's hard for them to say it like that. And that's probably something they need to heal from, but you can't heal on someone else's behalf, right? Like just for us, I think our responsibility is taking our part seriously, like doing our part, and just pray that maybe one day they will see that. I mean, my mom says I love you now, my dad too, but it's just like something that requires work, Yeah, celebrate the good stuff, and with the bad stuff, don't try to pretend they're not there. Like we shouldn't pretend they're not there. We should acknowledge that the right things are there, understand where they're coming from, like you said, and intentionally heal from them. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation and learned something from it. Thank you, Chaka, for this girl's wise. I really benefit from every conversation I have with Chaka, and I'm glad you guys could be a part of it. Comment down below whatever you think. If you disagree, that's fine. You can also just put that in the comments so that we get to see where you are at, how your heart is. I mean, where your heart is about this conversation. I don't know. I was pouting.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's conversation. I hope you've definitely learned something because I have, just by being in conversation. So if you have any thoughts that you would like to share, please make sure that you comment down below. Leave a thumbs up.
Yes.
And
give us
subscribe.
a thumbs up. Bye. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laonetti, aka Lao, aka Lao Butterfly, other things. And today
Please make sure that you comment down below. Leave a thumbs up.
Yes.
And
give us
subscribe.
a thumbs up. Bye. Don't forget to share with somebody. Batata viva! That was so unexpected. My channel, my name is Laonetti, aka Lao Butterfly and all the things. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Lao.
Look at the camera.
Okay.
Look at the camera. Stop looking at yourself